Hello everyone and welcome to episode 28 of Suplexes and Microphones. I'm Joe. We got our fill-in man, Caleb Kitchens over here. Sorry Nate couldn't be here. And sitting in between us is Mr. Tie-Dye Sunrise himself, James Johnson.
What's going on, boys?
Good to have you. I know that you have been someone that several people, including the man to your right, have requested that we get an interview done on.
Stop.
And truthfully, you've been, as you see with this hat right here, you've been repping us for quite a while, and we really appreciate that. So you are more than due for this interview. But before we get into who is the Tie-Dye Sunrise,
I can't believe you're doing this to me.
let's start off with who is the Lone Wolf? Previous gimmick where we first initially met you, Palmetto Championship Wrestling.
You did meet me in that gimmick, didn't you?
Yep, I did. And I'm gonna say this. Let me say this before we even start this off, because I know you're embarrassed by this, but everybody starts somewhere, and the change since then is pretty dramatic in a lot of ways, not just gimmick.
Yeah, I went from the bottom of the barrel to somewhere in the middle.
Well, guess what? When you're on the bottom, the only way you can go is up, right?
Oh, thank goodness.
I saw something on Facebook earlier this week, and I'm gonna paraphrase it. It basically said, if you're doing something that you enjoy, you're easily much better at it. And with the new gimmick, it appears you really enjoy yourself a lot more.
I really do. It was actually like a super big reason behind the change. And I've got a feeling that we're going to talk about that in just a little bit.
I hope so.
But, you know, just to start with, like, the old gimmick, it's real bad. It's a lot of leather, and that is a sweet wolf bodysuit, boys and girls.
Definitely got a little X-Pac thing going on there.
Trash!
There it goes.
Trash!
You're going to have to give him $10 for that 8x10 later.
Yeah.
We got a poster size.
Yeah. As long as picture.
So tell us about that period in your wrestling life or career.
Oh man, that was so rough. I had originally started a few years prior to like everybody getting to know me now, but I had like 2 matches and they went horribly and I got hurt. So I was like, you know, maybe this wrestling thing isn't for your boy, because it hurts a lot worse than I thought it would, and it's just not for me.
Right.
And like one day around like the beginning, maybe like first quarter of 2015, started thinking, you know, okay, maybe I was just having a real bad minute, you know? So I'll try this whole thing again. No problem, right? Big problem. Every connection I had made whatsoever just disappeared off the face of the earth. So, like 2-3 years is a long time. They just stopped wrestling, companies shut down, you know,
right.
Stuff like that. I actually found Palmetto Championship Wrestling a full 6 to 8 months before they ran their first show, because at the time I was going through a bit of a financial situation, so I was selling stuff on like Facebook groups and stuff. And I actually went on the Facebook group to take myself out of it, and I stumbled across a post Shane made about needing wrestlers, which is the weirdest thing I've ever read in a for sale group. And I'm thinking, is this customs? I don't like this. But it's the only shot I got right now. Sent him a message, found out he's just got a ring set up in his buddy's backyard, so I was like, okay, this is absolutely customs. But it wasn't supposed to turn into what it is today. It was just supposed to be like a one show and we're done type of thing, because he just wanted to wrestle in front of his friends, and
right.
You know. But after a series of controversies, like the athletic commission shut us down because we didn't know about the proper channels to go through to run a show. We didn't know about licenses, promoters' licenses, all, like, you have to rent buildings, you have to send them a percentage of the profit, all that. So before we could even have the first show, we got shut down. And then after that, we were like, well, if we're going through all this effort, we might as well run with it a little bit. We'll see how this first show does. And Palmetto Championship Wrestling had its first show November 1st, 2015, which is funny because coming up November 1st of 2019, we're having our 4-year anniversary.
Right.
Everything just lines up perfectly. But we were running out of time for, well, what do you want to be? I don't know what I want to be. It's just, and I had a buddy that made like these compression suits, which was what you saw in the picture. They're mostly for like cycling and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, I can get one of those pretty cheap. Yeah, cool, we'll do that. And I get it, and I didn't know that it was like full body suit. And it was a horrible decision. And but like you said, everybody starts somewhere.
Right.
And for the first year, 2 years, like year and a half, I think, I was that guy. And it was so tiring. I was so mad all the time. Like, I'm wearing all black, I'm wearing a leather coat, black bandana, black boots. I'm just gonna come out there and be chipper, guys. It doesn't look right.
Right.
But it was starting to wear on me a little bit, and towards the end, people didn't really believe that I was that guy anymore anyway. Like, I think the last 2 or 3 shows I had as that gimmick, like, half of the people started cheering me a little bit.
I was there.
And it was kind of weird, and it was just because they know, like, I like to think I'm a genuinely nice person, but, everybody has a different view of everybody else. Somebody said once, and I don't want to misquote it, I think Mick Foley said it, he was like, there's something about your eyes, people can tell how you are, like, really as a person by looking at your eyes. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I ever had that malicious look in my eyes. This is the problem.
You weren't murder one.
I was not murder one. God, any threat that man gives, I
believe it.
I believe him.
Yeah.
But the first match I had that I thought was any good or of any merit whatsoever was with Tracer, and that was the second Vive show ever.
I was there for that too, I believe.
I think you were, because I think you sent me a message after that. Matter of fact, yeah, you did. You did meet me as this gimmick, because Joe was actually kind enough to send me a message afterwards and tell me how much he thought that performance was like best I've ever had, and he's seen how far I've come.
Right.
But yeah, your boy was a little tired of all the time. It's so stressful. You don't get to be happy. Like, win a championship, brooding. Win a big match against somebody you're in a program with, brooding. Just
right
at your merch table because you don't know any better, brooding. Just
there was a lot of that going on back then, right? I mean, the hot topic era of indie wrestling, as we call it.
Hey, man. Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Well, yeah, that's
but it was a start, and that is the best I can say about it.
Now, I've been following you, as you mentioned, for quite a while, both in person for your career and on Facebook as friends and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I recall specifically you sitting on a couch for this promo where you tossed the biker jacket and things like that. Where you ditched the old gimmick, like literally.
How do you remember that? I didn't even remember that.
Yeah, so tell me what the transition actually was. I know you started training under Ethan. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that had something to do with it. So why don't you tell us in your own words the influence of Ethan and how that change happened?
All right. Well, Ethan took over around the time that PCW ran Spring Valley High School. I actually think our first show there was the day before Ethan took over the school. And the next day we show up, we're setting the ring up for training and stuff. And it's so weird. Like, if you'd have asked if the Palmetto Wrestling Academy was going to work out based off of first day, I didn't think it was, because all the kids, we all set the ring up, and somehow or another, they all got mad at Ethan, Brash, and Malachi. I don't...
At the 3 trainers.
I have no idea how it happened, but I looked around after the ring was set up, and I was like, I am the only one here. What happened? So I literally spent like an hour locking up with Billy Brash because A, I was terrible and we needed to work on my lockup. But B, because I was the only one there. Because somehow or another the rest of the kids just got so mad that they just all left. I mean, they all came back.
Yeah.
But just like that first day, I guess, was such a culture shock because of like, I guess they had never had the traditional like wrestling school vibe, you know what I mean? And it was like, oh, so we have to do all this work and you just get to watch us do this work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, and
that's how it is. Yeah.
That's how that works. But like, they weren't doing it to be lazy. They were doing it because A, you need to pay dues, and B, they wanted to make sure we knew how to set the thing up.
Right.
Like, so we were training for a little bit, and like they would poke fun at the gimmick, like constantly.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, Mr. Lone Wolf with angel tights over here.
Right.
Once I did do the change in the look because the full body suit just drove me completely nuts. And I was like, all right, fine, I get it. You don't like it. Trust me, I don't like it either. And then Ethan's just going, then why are you doing it? Like,
right.
Wrestling is such a weird thing. It's one of those, well, if you're not having fun while you're doing it, why are you doing it for?
Right.
And I was like, I don't have a good answer for that. And like one day, just out of the blue in training, Malachi looked at me and he's like, your gimmick is trash. We've got to do something. This is bad. And even like Brash is like, Brash was a little more like, if we work on it and we just drop the nickname entirely, you can be the dark brooding character if you want to be, because I've made a career out of it. But like, no matter which direction I went, there was going to be big changes.
Right.
Like, the state that I was in that gimmick was horrible. We did not need this on PCW. We did not need this anywhere as far as I'm concerned today. But eventually I was like, well, I don't know what I want to be. Like, even they were like, well, what do you do? I was like, I work. What else do you do? I come here. What else? I go to sleep. Wake up, rinse, repeat. Like, it was a very trying period. It was like a period of like 3 months, I think, where we're just racking our brains. Like, Malachi's like, do you like movies? I love movies. What's your favorite movie? I just like good cinema. Like,
you and I did this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Where I was asking you about some of that.
Oh yeah, man. I sent this man a list of my favorite everything, and I was like, I've made mistakes. I think he was looking for top 5.
Yeah, I was looking for something to key in on.
I sent like 25 of each category. I just like good cinema and music and, wrestling. But eventually, like, I had a loose idea of what I wanted to be, and it is absolutely not what we went with. I don't even remember what it was, but I remember I wanted to use the song In One Ear by Cage the Elephant. And I played it for Malachi, and he was like, I see hippie.
So Malachi Matthews, the man that always speaks his mind, said you like a hippie.
Yeah, he said, you look like a hippie, you got long hair, this music is like free-flowing, hippie rock, and I was not feeling hippie. And even Ethan was like, well, what do you do other than all of this other stuff? And I was like, well, I just sort of hang out. Like, there's literally, like, I'm just laid back and chill. And he was like, sounds like a hippie. It's like, oh, God, fine. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna commit to this, I need to go ahead and get gear, because if I don't get gear, then I'm just gonna let this idea just go straight through. I'm gonna keep doing this brooding, dark character. I'm gonna hate myself, and I'm gonna be out of wrestling in like 2 years. So I went on, I want to say it was High Spots, and I ordered this sweet pair of tie-dye tights, like the original Incarnation tights. I think they were pink and yellow. Full disclosure, for the first time to the masses, Tie-Dye Sunrise is colorblind, so.
I was going to jump on that later.
So I have so much faith in my wife when she has to tell me what color my gear is. I have her bag everything separately, so it's never one of those, what, you're wearing pink pants and a blue headband today.
I would just let you roll with that every time.
I know you would.
You're like, nah, man, that looks great.
You know, the way I found out, he was already doing the Hippie Gimmick, and I was getting him a Suplex microphone shirt. And I said, which one of these do you want? I sent him like 4 colors. He goes, hold on, I don't know. He actually had to hand the phone to Kevin Ray, so Kevin Ray could pick one for him because he couldn't see any of them.
They're all the same to him.
Yeah. And I said, wait a minute. I said, but you wear tie-dye. You said, I know, I get it.
The irony of my gimmick is not lost on me.
Yeah.
But I've always seen it as I bring people the colors in life that I don't get to enjoy. So,
hey, I like it.
But, so I bought those, and I showed up to training with them one day, but I wore them underneath my, like, I'm wearing sweatpants right now. I wore them underneath those. I was like, this is going to be a big surprise when we start warm-up, after we get done with warm-ups, when we get started on rolls and stuff, when drop trowel. What up, boys and girls? Nice. I'm a hippie now. And as soon as I did, Ethan goes, go in the bathroom and take those off. I was like, why? I thought this was what you wanted. He goes, it is. They are way too nice for you to ruin at training.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that was a little anticlimactic, but I was having fun with it.
Nice.
At least he sent you to the bathroom.
Take those off.
Right now.
Don't leave the ring.
Oh no, I thought hazing in wrestling was over. What happened? It's clearly not.
I stole his bag earlier.
Yeah, he stole my bag. I just don't care about my bag. I was like, it's fine. Somebody needed it more than me.
Well, let's move on to something that you've kind of become a specialist in. But I want to say first, though, it seems like everywhere that I've seen you, even for a debut, you get over really quickly. Partly, I think, because of that gimmick being very, I mean, it's fan friendly for sure. Anybody can see it immediately, know what you are, what you represent. The colors are cool. The kids like that, So I think that's really helped you.
Oh yeah.
You have people that follow you around for shows now,
Oh, absolutely. One of the first things that was remarked whenever I started doing it, because I had started at smaller promotions first, because I was like, well, I don't want to wrestle even remotely like the guy I used to be. Like, that was the big thing for me, is I have to, if it's a different me, I have to be completely different.
Right.
I don't strike the same. I don't punch, kick, forearm. I don't use the same moves, aside from like suplex, body slam, whatever it is. But it had to be 2 different feels, because they were on polar opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
Like black, rainbow.
Yeah.
It's one of those where it was very important to me that I not just change the skin, because imagine it like a video game. Like, you get a bunch of DLC for it, and then you find out, like, you think you have all these new playable characters, and it's literally just a skin swap. You get a little upset, don't you, kids?
Yeah.
I was going to say, every time. You're speaking his language now.
Every time.
As soon as I started, he was going,
yeah.
They said there were 60 Avengers in this game, and there's really only 7.
this one plays just like Captain America.
Yeah.
Iron Man, Armor 1, Armor 2, Armor 3.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what you've been specializing in. I've seen you in probably 3 different tag teams.
Oh boy.
I've seen you wrestle with Wade Adams. You actually won the Viral Pro Wrestling Tag Team titles.
Man, what What a long
Later
run
on-
we had.
Later on, you slammed him through some thumbtacks and things.
Well, he did it first.
Kevin Ray, you guys trained together, so it's kind of natural for you guys to do a little tagging up.
Yeah.
I believe you and Savannah Evans were called Just Friends at one point.
Oh, man, that was the one that got away.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, God. We were both so excited for it every time. We just never could get, like, everything finalized out. Like, there would be people that really wanted to do it, and then our dates didn't line up. And then it was, well, we want to do it, but we need promo shots. And every time we were in a place with promo shots, whenever we got ready to do them, whoever would leave. And like, I just thought the idea behind that would be so much fun, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen for me.
So, I've got Kevin Ray, I got Wade Adams. You want to name the rest? I'll write them down.
Oh my God.
Wait, we've got a show.
I got a show to run.
So-
I could go. We could go do the show.
Come
When the
back.
show's over, I'll change back into this and come back in here.
Should we
and you guys
pause?
should be getting close to the
Why don't I go order
Yeah.
pizza too while he's...
of this list.
All right, just tell me, give me at least 2 more names of guys you've tagged with, and then I want to hear 2 you want to tag with. I'll assume Savannah's one of those.
Oh yeah. 2 people I've tagged with. The most prominent would be the Southern Punisher, Big Country.
Big Country, that's right.
And, making his Viral Pro debut tonight, officially, on an actual viral show, Cody Fluffman.
Fluff.
Yeah, I forgot Fluff, didn't you? 2 people I want to tag team with. Man, I wasn't ready for want to tag team.
We got all kind of noise issues.
It's fun.
This mic should
Pick us up more.
more than it's the idea of a shotgun. But Bob Keller's a loud guy. So
Wrestling. This is how it works.
it's gonna be a lot of cuts in there.
Anyway.
How much do you think it costs to soundproof this room?
We don't own the building.
More
brother.
than we have, probably.
Might as well.
Mud shields everywhere. All right, well, 2 people I want to tag.
Yeah, 2 people you want to tag with.
Oh, man. I feel like I would be best suited to tag with someone colorful. A big one for a while was Zane Riley, but we actually did that like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it was actually really fun. Who else could I tag with? I mean, I'm really happy with the list of tag partners I do have, and that might be why it's so hard to pick 2.
How about the man whose shirt you're wearing there?
James Drake?
Yeah.
Oh, so you mean let him do all the work and then like I just get beat up?
I didn't book the match. I'm asking if you want
I mean,
to
he's
tag
got
with
an
me.
opening now.
I mean, hey, I would love to team with Drake just because I feel like it would be. That's one thing I don't think anybody would expect to see either, because it's like, James Drake, blue collar.
Right.
Would y'all be like the
Nickname.
tie-dye collar badasses?
Come on, man, I didn't say it. You said it. I was trying to follow the rules of the program, kids.
That's his gimmick. That's his gimmick.
Tie-dye Sunrise going to Chop City.
I actually pitched the matter of fact, Montana Black's one I want to tag with because I told you the idea for the T-shirt I wanted.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
It was kind of similar to this one, but instead of like Drake's hand, it's Montana's giant meaty paw, but it's full of tie dye. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Also, like we've both been in like 87 tag teams each. So, like, you just got to try it out sometime.
I need Montana to broaden his horizons for tag partners. That's all I'm going to say. All right, so fan question.
Fantastic.
Fluff. We were talking about Fluff earlier. Fluff gave us this question a long time ago. Tracer X has that Frosted Flakes box with his picture on it.
Mm-hmm.
If your picture was to be on a cereal box, which box would you choose? What flavor cereal are we talking about?
Tricks.
Okay.
I picked Tricks because Tricks are for kids and I'm a kid at heart.
Tricks are for kids. You got lots of fun colors.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Makes sense. All right, so we're going to jump into the hot tag here. I'm going to explain this, and Caleb's going to throw these questions out here. This is what Nate likes to call the Twitter answer, 140 characters or less. You can do it word association style if you want, like first thing comes to your head, but no more than a sentence. First up,
All right, so we're going to start with your most recent adversary here at Viral Pro, Wade Adams.
I could talk about Wade for hours, but I guess what I would have to say about Wade is not enough people give him credit. Because when we came to Viral and we started with each other, everybody was just saying, no, it's never going to work out. They're too different, stuff like that. But I'd say we've had one of the more entertaining story arcs in Viral. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we went from wrestling each other the first time. He was really upset that we were wrestling each other. I won, forced him to be my tag partner, which he didn't want to do. I was in a glorified handicap match with the hierarchy. Somehow managed to pull that one off, and then here's a Wade Adams and James Johnson, the Viral Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
Anger management.
Anger.
With 3 R's and no E. But and it ended. Yeah, he broke the team up. Our first title defense
Ended with love.
God bless him. And it ended in infection whenever I committed manslaughter on Wade Adams.
Yeah, that happened.
There's still a little bit of the old guy in there. We just bust him out when we need to.
Just a taste.
Just a taste. But I love Wade.
Next on the list, Effie.
Oh my God. I could.
140 characters or less now.
Yeah, you could. I know you could go give us 20 minutes probably on each person on this list.
Oh man, Effie's the personification of entertainment. To me, he's changing the game.
Yeah.
And like marketing top notch, like presentation top notch, constantly. Everything the man touches turns to gold, and I don't understand the formula. I haven't actually sat down to talk with Effie about it. But if there's like one guy that gets self-marketing, it's Effie.
No doubt.
I mean, we were at DragonCon, and they were debuting his new scent.
Did they debut it at DragonCon?
Yeah, and
They
it was
did.
it was expensive. I mean, and people were buying it.
It was like a sample size, and it was like $30 or something.
It was
tiny.
It was like $30 for
They
like a little
sold
show.
out. They sold out.
Effie, you mad scientist! I love you.
Like, probably it would take 15 of those things to fill up that bag.
Yeah, it was so small, and it was like $30-something, and I was like,
we were planning to
we were gonna buy it, but I mean,
we wouldn't have eaten that.
Sorry,
night, so.
Effie.
He made so much money.
Yep.
I love you, Effie. Only you.
Next guy on the list, somebody you're incredibly familiar with, Fluffman.
Fluff. My Fluffykins. Fluff has all the potential in the world. Like, he just started wrestling. He's been put in positions against top performers. Drew Adler, Owen Knight.
Right.
Like, Kevin Ray, Mason Miles. Here at Viral Pro Wrestling, we technically had a tag match against the Monster Squad. Wasn't an official Viral show. It was a joint show, but
It counts for the record books.
But he's too good to be as new as he is, and it's kind of a testament to the Ethan K's training procedure. You know, Ethan doesn't believe in letting you go until he thinks you have the potential to be a star.
Right.
And I think Fluff has all the potential in the world to be a star. And I love having him as a tag partner. Like, he's probably my favorite tag partner.
Nice.
Right now.
Breaking some hearts right now.
I said it.
Next up, Big Country.
Okay, well, maybe I'll take it back.
You're flip-flopping.
And it's just because, like, Country and I have such a rich history. Like, he was my tag partner in my old gimmick. Like,
Correct.
And we carried on to the new stuff. Like, and maybe the only reason I would put Fluff above Country is because Fluff and I have the ability to tag team in more places. Like, anywhere Country goes, he's main event super heavyweight.
Right.
they don't really give him much space to be a tag team guy.
He's like Hulk Hogan in a couple of promotions in Carolina. I mean, truly.
It really is.
Fun story. Fun story, and it's break off the tweet sent. At the anniversary show last year, it was me and Country against Filth, Mason Miles and Mr. Sleaze. Now Cutthroat, Eric Thompson. Don't let me slip on that because I've already upset him.
It's still hard for me to do.
I've upset him so bad. I was like, I'm still going to call you Sleaze. Why? Because that's how it's happening.
I've known him as that for like a decade now.
So, but something like really cool and horrible happened all at the same time. The soundboard blew during Filth's entrance. They were the first entrance of the show.
Oh, is that the show I was at? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I remember that. Right.
Microphones did not work.
Yeah, definitely.
Sound did not work. The only thing that was working were video projectors.
Yeah.
And they weren't playing any sound for obvious reasons. I come out and I make my entrance, and it's supposedly going to be a handicap match because nobody could find me a tag team partner. And then out comes Country, and I kid you not, it is the loudest sustained roar of a crowd I've ever heard. And maybe it was because the music wasn't on. But as soon as he came through the curtain, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like, we came out to the sound of roaring applause. It was the coolest thing ever, and it was 100% on Country and not on me. Like, I get a good reaction at PCW. They like me there. They love Country. Oh, they love Country. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would tag with Country any day. Him and Fluff are literally interchangeable, one or two, at any point in the tag team lineup, for the reasons I listed.
Well, the last guy we've got, you basically got his shirt on right here, James Drake.
James Drake is the unsung hero in James Johnson's story. I give all the credit in the world to the three men who trained me, Ethan Case, Malachi Matthews, and Billy Brash. Before any of them came along, Drake was the only guy of vet status that actually treated me like a person. And he helped me vastly. And he would slap the life out of me for talking so nicely about him.
Don't ruin his bad rep, right?
Right.
Tough guy.
But he's the guy that this generation needs him to be. Like, he will get you from A to Z. Like, he knows how wrestling works. Clearly, this stage in his career, he's in Evolve, being looked at heavily. Like, Evolve is always being monitored by WWE constantly.
Main evented on the WWE Network.
Right. My favorite match of that entire show, and it's not even me being biased. I thought it told the best story.
Yeah.
Start to finish. Also didn't hurt that, Paul Heyman showed up and made me cry.
Right.
I cried like a baby when he introduced Drake, man.
I lost my mind.
Man, my wife was like, "Why are you crying?" I was like, "You don't get it. He made it."
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I mean, that was just, that was probably the moment for me for the year.
Yeah. But I love you, Uncle Drake. I can't say anything bad whatsoever about him.
I know why you remember that show, because they grabbed you and said, "Hey, Caleb, can you help fix our soundboard?"
Yeah.
That's why you remember that show.
Yeah, Shane came and got me out of the crowd.
Oh, the anniversary show.
Yeah, not the
I was about to be like,
no.
Wait,
sorry.
Whoa.
Wait. No, the PCW show, Shane came and got me, hey man, he got me out of the crowd, and I go back there and it looked like a bunch of production dwarves were scrambling around. That's how it looked in my mind. Even though everybody on the production team's a full size person, that's just what it looked like to me. And they're all back there scrambling and stuff, and I was like, yeah, the soundboard's dead.
All right, so James, now we're going to get into our next feature. We call it the 10 count. I'm going to ask 1 through 5. Caleb's going to ask 6 through 10. The first one's a little generic. The first one, I only want to ask you because I feel like you're right about to hit this hump.
Yeah.
And about to hit some big things in 2020 because we're near the end of 2019. So give me one goal that you want to accomplish in 2020. It could be something very simple or it could be something just vast.
I want to be the type of performer that promotions bring in a name to wrestle.
Okay. I like the specificity of that very much.
I feel like I have the ability for it. Most of the big promotions around here that can afford to bring in a name already have established talent they would put the name against.
Sure. I
want to be included in that list because I feel like as soon as I do, people will look at me differently.
Yeah. So you still got Christopher Daniels' number, Caleb?
I mean, I do.
You would be okay with that, right?
He's exclusive contract now.
You just missed it.
Oh, dang it.
All right. So number 2, and I'm going to put a rule on this one. You can't say Kevin Ray. Who is your favorite traveling partner? Somebody you want to hit the road with?
Well, thank goodness you didn't say Kevin Ray because he lives all the way in Greenville now, so we don't ever get to travel together anymore.
About that. You're right.
Believe it or not, like I bring my wife and kids to a lot of these now. Like
your lovely wife is here now.
Yep. And they just had at first like they weren't enjoying it at all, but I feel like if I bring them with me, it helps me justify like tomorrow I have to leave to go to like Helena, Georgia for work for a week.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have showed up Friday afternoon, came here to do this on Saturday, and then on Sunday just straight back out of town, I would be divorced.
Yeah.
So I started bringing her and Steven along. Steven's my son. Kelsey's my wife. I figured I should probably name drop both of them if I'm gonna just name drop my son. I started bringing both of them to avoid, bad feelings at home. Also, I like spending time with my wife and kids. Like, I know most people are gonna be like, can't wait to get away from my wife and children. I like the person I married and I like my kid. So, other than that, like, I like traveling with Fluff.
Okay.
He's fun.
I bet.
Like, one word to describe Fluff is fun.
He is his gimmick in a lot of ways.
Oh,
yes.
My God, yes. Which I've had to save his bacon a time or two so far. I was like, come on, Fluff. We're like 6 months into this stuff. God bless you, Fluff, man.
All right, so let's go to number 3. I need you to give us a dream match with someone, and I'm going to do question 1A here, 3A, dead, and then 3B, someone alive.
Somebody dead. Like, the one I would, like the stereotypical one I would want would be Eddie.
So we hear a lot.
Of course, I mean.
But I'm going to go Dusty.
Okay. That'd be fun.
I feel like that would be the money match to me. Like, we're both very energetic, entertaining personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I wrestled Eddie, we would have an Eddie match. If I wrestled Dusty, horizons are open.
I agree.
So.
Okay. How about alive?
Alive. Oh, God. Probably Tommaso Ciampa.
I can't argue that.
And for the sole reason that I want to show people I can go. Like, everybody knows, and this is a conversation I've actually had with Kitchens, like, a very core group of fans knows that I can wrestle. And it's like, it's only been 1 or 2 places where I've actually been able to, like, cut loose and just have a wrestling match. And it was against Drew Adler at PCW, and it was not the first match, the one that you were at. I don't know if you were at the second one.
I think I was at both.
Drew and I went 20 minutes.
It was amazing.
And we went hard for 20 minutes. It wasn't, I'll put you in a rest hold, brother.
Right.
Like, we went hard. And those are the kind of matches, like, I want to strive for now. Like, I know clearly on indie wrestling shows, you're probably not going to get 20 minutes. And full disclosure, we didn't get 20 minutes that night.
You took 20, though.
We didn't mean to take 20, but it happened. And Drew is just top notch constantly. There's literally, like, he's probably my favorite indie wrestler, period. He's got look, size, strength, personality. He looks like $1 million. Like, I know I said looks earlier, but I mean, like, face too. Like, that's a handsome fella.
Well, if you get to work Ciampa. You could get 15 and take 45. It's an inside joke.
I feel like I know what that's from.
You get it, you get it.
5 stars.
Something related to that though. I want to mention when you wrestled Anthony Henry at Vive, I believe.
Oh boy.
You and I talked about this beforehand. You said I'm going to actually get to do some chain wrestling, and a lot of people don't know that I'm pretty good at that. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, and unfortunately we didn't get to. But it was the format of the match we were in. Chain wrestling and 6-man tags are kind of
right. But you were saying back then, I want to show people I can wrestle.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
So and what was that? 2 solid years ago, probably.
Oh man, it's been at least a year and some change. I think that was the show where I came back from my back injury, and it was a work-related back injury too. It wasn't even like, oh, you did this during having an awesome wrestling match. It was like, no, you stepped in a hole and turned the wrong way at work while you had something heavy on your shoulders and it popped your back out of place and you couldn't move. Oh man, that got dark real quick. But I had to miss like 2 or 3 PCW shows, and I came back. It was myself and Monster Squad against Drake, Henry, and Adler.
Yep. Beasts.
And I was not very confident whenever we started.
It's a good match.
Oh, we had once like we started gelling like while wrestling, things just like that open. I had a rough time with that open because I was like a step and a half behind from being out, and it was so hard. But I do want to show people that I know how to wrestle. I'm not overly like pursuing it because like some people will be like, well, that's not your gimmick. And
right.
I know it's not my gimmick. Just put me in there with somebody's gimmick. It is. I can like if somebody booked a match between myself and Anthony Henry tomorrow, he would beat the crap out of me because
he's Anthony Henry.
Henry is pound for pound the strongest man I have ever been in the ring with. Like he straight just yoked me up in a powerbomb and threw me down. Like I didn't help him at all.
People don't
says the same
understand what kind of condition he's in because he's a smaller guy.
Yep.
But I mean, I could sit here all day. I couldn't name somebody that's in better condition than he is.
Oh, it's nuts. Like he grabbed me and he went to go for it, and I went to jump. All I heard is right before he went to pull me up, he goes, I said, what? And while saying what, I get flipped upside down, inside out, and powerbombed. And I went, I didn't even know that was a thing that human beings could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we were to wrestle, I would take that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, bar none. Like, they don't call him a 5-star king because it's something fancy you can put on a t-shirt. If you go 30 with Henry, you went 30 with Henry.
Right.
There's literally like nothing else you could compare that to on the planet because he's a different type of athlete.
And you're dead, and he can go another 30.
Yeah. He's warmed up at that point.
Right.
Which is funny because I actually, when I was training for the 6-man tag, like I ran on a treadmill for 3 hours solid. Like there were like intermittent sequences, but I ended up running like so many miles.
Yeah.
And I sent it to Ethan, and I was like, think I'm ready for like 5 with Henry? And he goes, no. Oh.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about number 4 here. Biggest regret related to pro wrestling. And don't say your old gimmick.
My biggest regret when it comes to wrestling, it's such a hard question because I don't really regret much. Like, I have little regrets. Like, man, I wish I'd let that heal a little bit more before I came back. I regret not going this hard at it sooner.
Right.
A little bit. I mean, I'm still relatively young, 25. It's pretty decently young in wrestling, I think. I mean, kids are getting in at like 14, 15 now. So
yeah.
I feel like I'm getting a little up there. I'm a dinosaur, brother. But there was just a really long period where I was like, I'm just really happy with where I'm at. Like, king of a dirt hill. If there was a period of time where if I just wrestled at PCW for the rest of my life, I'd be fine. And still, like, I don't want to miss a PCW show because they gave me like a very good restart in wrestling. But like if that was my only booking, like I would probably be like, what am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong? And it's like, even like today, like I didn't have a booking today. It was really weird. Like last weekend didn't have a booking. It was, I don't know what to do with time off. Yeah. But I need to take time off. It's like a weird in between is like, don't just find places to work just to fill your schedule, but like I get antsy. I can't, like I really, and if I had the option to just like go roll around in a ring whenever I wanted to, I would. Just like I would probably shut down most of my bookings if I knew like I could just go someplace and hit the ropes for like an hour.
Yeah, it's a dream, isn't it? If you just had one like in a room in your house somewhere. Yeah, a very well air conditioned room in your house.
Yeah,
and you just
I mean, brother, I don't even need air conditioning. Like Palmetto Wrestling Academy, we don't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
In the room with the ring, we don't have air conditioning.
And I know the Warrior Warehouse didn't, where you worked mini matches.
God.
Everybody was suffering there, even the fans.
Yeah, somebody shot outside of one of our shows once, and we were like, "This will be the last one here."
I was there.
Everybody looked back at the wall, and then somebody, I don't remember who it was like, "You think by looking at it, you're not gonna get shot? Like, move away from there." But. And I mean, I do have places like the Palmetto Wrestling Academy. They open door policy anytime they're open for me to come in. And if I'm working in town, I'm there Monday through Thursday because you never stop learning.
Right.
Even though I spent a lot of time training with Ethan Case, the amount of time I spent training with Ethan does not equate up to like, I think he's 15 years in the business now. Like, I spent literally almost every day of every month for 2 years with Ethan training, and I'm still like 13 off from where he's at now, and he's still got stuff he can show me. And by can show me, I mean he's got a Bible-sized book and he can just
Volume 1
today.
Yeah.
Volume 1.
Arm drag.
So number 5, before Caleb goes into his 5, is what is your road trip playlist? What'd you listen to on the way here today? Because we talked about music a little bit, and you threw me for a loop on that one too.
Oh man, I threw you so many. I wish you didn't say today because I definitely just listened to the Arn Anderson podcast.
Okay.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like hearing him talk about the territories and stuff, and then like getting into Crockett, leaving Crockett, and they just posted the one about the My Spot promo with Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
So good. I actually, like, they played the promo at the end of it, and, like, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Just hearing it over the speakers in my car. That's another one.
I remember that one very well.
I love Arn. He was so good. And, like, even when he was, like, wrestling actively, he was so underrated.
Yeah.
He was that guy that you would put people against because you knew he'd make them look like $1 million.
Dean Malenko took his place in the Horsemen. He was like the super underrated guy who could actually go better than anybody else in the
absolutely.
group.
That's another one I like. I could watch Dean Malenko wrestle for years.
Especially him and Eddie, right?
Man, that match they had, that one match that they clearly had that one time and that one promotion. I think it was the last match they ever had at ECW is probably one of my favorites. I think it was 2 out of 3 falls. It was just...
Wade got me on the Cornette podcast.
Did he?
So it's just Jim Cornette going off the rails for like 2 hours straight.
I listened to that.
It is, yeah.
I listened to that solely to feel better about where I'm at in life.
Right, yeah.
Like Ethan can't stand it.
Really?
He's like, I don't understand how you could be this negative about something that gave you so much money.
I mean, he loves wrestling. He really does. But you listen to Cornette because you want to hear him complain about things. And that's the gimmick at this point.
I mean, honestly, like, I'll listen to it and I'll just stop and go, you know, as bad as I feel right now, like, at least Jim Cornette's not talking crap about me on this podcast.
Nate absolutely adores Jim Cornette. He loves him.
Well, he did go off on the Dawsons. You know, they were at the Power tape. They were in NWA Power taping, and Kim Cornette's booked there.
What did they do to him?
Just listen to the most recent episode.
I gotta hear that.
He goes off on the Dawsons, but in a loving way. He praised him at the end. But you know, it's Jim Cornette.
Okay.
You know.
What you got on number 6, Caleb?
All right, so this is probably my favorite question that we ask. What is your, even though I don't actually eat there myself, what's your go-to cookout order?
I got 2. One, if I'm feeling like eating a lot, I'll eat the strip tray, double up on corn dogs, and a huge sweet tea. The other, if I'm feeling really light, like if I have a show later that day, I'll just get cheese fries, man. Like, you can't go wrong with cheese
fries. Because that's light.
Right.
No, like the little orders.
Oh, the little order. Okay.
That's a tease, man.
They've got like this little bit. It's literally just enough to get your taste buds, and then you're like, okay.
My mind went to, I want a cookout tray, all cheese fries.
No.
That's where my mind went. I was like, that's not light at all.
No. I'm very basic when it comes to food. Like, I like the classics.
Speaking of classics, number 7. Tell us about your first car.
My first car was a 1995 Honda Accord with it was hatchback. It wasn't the trunk. It was like the sedan or the Volkswagen looking model.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I bought the car for $1,000. It was trash from the moment I bought it. Dude got me good. Like. He's like, I just drove this thing to Charleston and back, and we live in an area where Charleston's like an hour and a half away. So I was like, well, that's where most of my bookings are right now. I can swing that. Hell yeah. $1,000. Literally, I went to Concord for PWX, and the engine blew. My wife was with me, and we're at a red light 20 minutes from the venue, and my car just shuts off. And then somebody helps me by pushing it, and they're like, hit the ignition, and I hit the ignition, and it's started, and it's overheating.
All right, so number 8, what is one thing that you would like to see changed in the pro wrestling business? You can only pick one.
That's a rough one, because really, like, wrestling is like the best thing in my life, so like complaining about it seems kind of, you know.
It's not complaining, it's something you want to fix.
There's something you want to fix.
There's some very topical things I would want to fix that I'm not going to get into today. I guess perception, like, of people in wrestling, like, sometimes. And that sounds very vague, and it is, so let me... Like, if you look at somebody like James Drake, you have never seen him work a day in your life. You would go, I'm not going to be very entertained by him at all. And it's like, just because he's an average looking dude, right? I mean, he's big. Like, you know, if he hits you, it's going to hurt. But like, I can't count how many times I've heard somebody say something about somebody like Drake or Fluff or TJ Boss or anybody of that stature. Like, and even like, to a lesser extent, people like my size. Like, I have an average build. People will judge you just based off that, right?
Right.
Like, negative perceptions of, like, and it's not even just like fans. Like, wrestlers do it too. Like, oh, he must be trash because he doesn't have abs. He doesn't have biceps. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He's got weird tendencies when it comes to abs. Hate him. But people are very judgmental, and I think like you shouldn't ever judge until like you've actually seen them perform. But again, like that's a little bit of a selfish thing. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just I guessed right.
Hey man, I might be fat, I can go to the gym. He's gonna be ugly for the rest of his life. Oh god, he looks like somebody just.
I cannot get on this tangent on this program.
What's next?
Me and you can Facebook Live later and just go.
We're going
on
off
that.
the rails here.
Number 9. Pick a superpower.
Pick a superpower. I would slap. I'm just.
You remember that car earlier? Let's hit the brakes on this one.
Oh well, if they work.
Those work, yeah.
Superpower, I'd probably. Y'all have done flight and teleportation so many times on this show. Endurance.
Okay.
Just like I have an okay gas tank. Like I can go, but what if you need to do that Chris Hero like 3-hour marathon that he did for charity, which was amazing. Like hats off to you, brother.
Yeah.
I don't have the 3-hour gas tank. You can get 30-45.
Which is still
Very generous.
Yeah.
30-45. That's if the opening isn't like
and that last 15 between the 30 and the 45 is going to be rough.
super kick die.
Yeah.
Super kick die. But yeah, that's what I would pick. That's something different.
That's
I
unique.
don't think I've heard that one.
That's
I don't
right.
think I've heard that one.
All right, last question. Who is the GOAT and why?
Oh god, I forgot about this. Like I had a feeling this was coming. My all-time personal favorite is Sean. But I can't say he's the GOAT. Can't do it. And the only reason I can't do it is just strictly monetary.
Go right there. There's your answer.
You know what? He is, to me, it's a draw between Flair and Dusty. They drew the most money.
And here's something interesting about Dusty.
That's not true.
Well, Stone Cold drew the most money.
Stone Cold
all
drew the most
time.
money.
He drew the most merch money.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
put
We're
it
just
this way.
talking about houses.
They
Okay.
said, Dusty, long before the internet, when you would just see a poster on the corner and maybe an ad in a newspaper, he would sell out 20,000 seat arenas all up and down the coast.
Yep.
Just
Andre.
his name. Just his name.
Andre as well.
Yep.
No, true.
But that was more of a, I mean, not to discredit him, but
Andre's such a weird.
he's an attraction. He's a wonder of the world.
He transcends wrestling.
Right.
I feel like that's a cheat code.
He's his own brand.
Like
He is.
people can say Hulk Hogan, and it's mainly because like when he goes to transcend wrestling, it always comes back to wrestling.
Right.
Andre could go do something like Princess Bride, and nobody's like,
He's a wrestler. No,
that's a wrestler
Andre.
acting. No, that's just a big man.
Yeah.
But like he was the first guy on talk shows and stuff like that, and they've got the whole thing in a museum for him where you can put your hand up against what his hand size was. It's ridiculous. I've been there. It's awesome. But to me, Dusty and Flair, based on houses, they drew the most money. I will say Flair strictly because of work schedule. Like literally, they documented one of his weeks in like his documentary for WWE. It was like, I was over here, then I was over here, then I was up this way, then I took a private plane all the way down here. I don't know why we flew in this arc, but we did. There were transfers, brother. But Dusty to me was just the performer, like of the two. Like he wouldn't ever have like the same Dusty match. Like Flair would have his template match that he could literally go around the world, and since nobody else saw it last week, he can just, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. But like Dusty was the big guy that could go, and he rarely had the same exact match.
Yeah.
Like Dusty's like bar none like top guy to me. Like, and I feel like even though he gets a lot of credit, he still doesn't get enough. Like if you mention GOATs, nobody ever goes for Dusty.
You're right.
Right.
And that's probably why I'm going to go with Dusty today. But Flair and him are like, and it's for the reasons that I listed. You know what I mean?
Understood.
This has been the most politically correct, aside from that little almost tangent where I talked about.
Nobody cares about that guy anyway.
Yeah,
So
well, you know, if I look like I got slapped in the face with a waffle iron.
all right, well it's time to plug everything and wrap it up, man. You know.
Yep. So how can people find you, book you, buy your merch?
You can find me on Facebook, James Johnson. I'll be the guy wearing all the funky colors. This vest is probably in the profile picture at any given time because my wife made it and it's pretty. Instagram and Twitter is tie-dye_Johnson. You can book me by sending a message to any of those accounts. And whew, my bad, dog. You can buy merch at any show that I'm booked at, or just send me a message. I do ship out merchandise.
Nice. All right, and you, as usual, you can find all of our social media at Suplexes Mics, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever your preferences are. And that's going to wrap up episode 28. Thank you for being here.
Oh, man, this was fun.
And we'll see you guys next time with whoever our next guest may be. Thanks to Viral Pro Wrestling once again for letting us have the venue and a guest.
Just proud of yourself.
Yeah, and we're in a back closet today.
I don't.
A little different spot today.
Brother was very humble towards himself. I wonder how many people I made mad today. It's gonna be fun.